Well, Patriots, it doesn't look as if I will be needing this anymore. Listen up, America. Welcome to the land of the free, until the algorithm says otherwise. Strap in for another episode of Caption America, shielded in snark. I'm your host, Caption America, coming to you in my red, white, and blue tights, star-spangled smirk, and a shield hammered from pure, weapon-grade sarcasm. My superpower? Calling out the official narrative like it's a bad Tinder date. Awkward, full of red flags, and way too invested in gaslighting you. Tonight, we're diving into the conspiracy swamp. Because nothing says, trust the process, like being told to shut up while the process is on fire. Let's start with the basics. What is a conspiracy theorist? And let's take an enlightening look at both ends of the conspiracy theorist spectrum. On one end of the conspiracy theorist spectrum, we have the total nutjob. These are the folks who wake up with a theory tattooed on their brain and spend the rest of their lives twisting every headline, weather report, and spilled latte into proof of the conspiracy theory of the day. You know them? Flat Earth? Chemtrails? Birds or drones? It doesn't matter, everything fits. Evidence? Optional. Evolution? Never heard of it. They're not researching, they're auditioning for a Netflix documentary. On the far opposite end of the conspiracy theorist spectrum, we have the evolver, also generally referred to as a nutjob. Well, if I was to consider myself to be part of the second type, what behavior would distinguish us from the other? We would probably start with questions, not conclusions. We would follow the data like bloodhounds. When new facts drop, we pivot. We connect dots that don't fit the official puzzle. Sure, we get called nutjobs too, but with a twist, our predictions keep coming true. Years early, while the experts are still fact-checking yesterday's lies. So here's your challenge, viewers. Which end of the spectrum am I on? Let's find out. Let's take this for a test ride, shall we? Conspiracy or fact? The 2020 election was stolen. Let's take a peek from my perspective, because I've got receipts. Under the 4 years of the Biden administration, just uttering the words, stolen election, got you shadow banned faster than a cat video with a swear word. How do I know? Because I lived it. Posts vanished. Accounts throttled. Misinformation labels slapped on my content like bumper stickers at a cult rally. And now, we know why. The Biden White House didn't just ask big tech to censor dissent, they demanded it. Twitter files revealed White House staffers begging platforms to nuke posts about gun buyers and lab leaks. Need receipts? Consider Missouri versus Biden, where a federal judge ruled it was the biggest First Amendment violation in modern history. Supreme Court punted, but the emails don't lie. Delete this, flag that, or else. Rule number 1 of being a successful conspiracy theorist. If they're censoring you, you're not the liar. You are the threat. Liars don't need silencers. Truth does. Now, let's get spicy with the numbers. Joe Biden got 11.8 million more votes than Barack Obama did in 2008. On what planet would this make sense? Obama filled stadiums, oozed charisma, and let's not forget those hope posters. Compare that to Biden, hiding in his basement, behind a mask riddled with Zoom glitches. At the same time, Donald Trump gathered record-breaking crowds at rallies in Butler and in Tucson, with standing room only. But sure, Biden broke the vote ceiling. Can you smell what I'm cooking here? Then there's the inconsistencies with mail-in voting. In 2016, there were 33.5 million mail-in ballots. Compare that to 2020, where 66.4 million mail-in ballots were tallied. That's a 100% jump. And consider this equation. 21% of voters in 2016 compared to 46% in 2020. Starting to get the picture? One reason for the difference is of course the pandemic. But as they say on the progressive left, let not a good crisis go to waste. From the Democrat perspective, crisis equals opportunity. Now, shall we discuss illegal ballot harvesting? According to the leftist narrative, ballot harvesting doesn't exist. And yet in Florida, a Democratic operative was jailed for over 100 fake ballots. And did you know in Pennsylvania, a nursing home cast 21 votes on behalf of the dead? And speaking of dead voters, in Michigan, 14,000 plus ballots cast were from the deceased. In Georgia, over 1,000 flagged. What about non-citizens? Because the left insists that no illegal alien ever cast a vote in a federal election. And yet in Texas, well, they only caught 20. That's not so bad. But wait, there's more. Like in Arizona, hundreds caught up in the audits. And yet Heritage logs 1,500 plus convictions since the year 2000. Democrats' response, no widespread fraud. Translation, we haven't counted all the bodies yet. And what would modern voting be like without voting machines? Let's look at some facts from the 2020 election. Did you know in Antrim County, Michigan, 6,000 Trump votes flipped to Biden? Oops. No worries though, because when it was pointed out, corrections were made. What a relief. And things were running fine in Georgia, except the voting machines there rejected ballots 3 times more in GOP districts. I'm sure this was just a coincidence. And what about those ES&S machines? Mysteriously connected to the internet in 30 plus states. Think it didn't happen? A simple Google search can verify. Now, who remembers the 3 a.m. vote dumps in Milwaukee and Detroit, 90% plus to Biden's advantage? Benford's The Law of Anomalous Numbers began screaming, algorithm alert. What about ballot stuffing caught on video? Georgia's suitcase tapes. Philly drop boxes. Remember 2,000 Mules geo-tracking? And who could forget Zuck Bucks? $419 million from the Zuck man himself. To aid in a fair election. Let's do the math just to determine how evenly distributed these drop boxes really were. Well, the numbers don't lie. 83% went to Biden-won counties in Pennsylvania. 78% to counties won by Hillary Clinton in 2016 nationwide. Now, shall we compare that to Trump counties? A measly 7%. Nonpartisan. The math just doesn't add up. Shall we talk about the proverbial elephant in the room? The infamous January 6th, the setup. Trump authorized 20,000 National Guard weeks ahead. Pelosi's team denied it. Not once, but twice. And now the facts are in. Documented. January 4th, Stephen's son begs for backup. Denied. January 6th, riot in progress. Yet another plea. Over an hour delay, over perceived optics. Optics. While windows are breaking. Now, how's that for optics? The narrative according to FBI Director Wray, no agents were on the ground. The reality, 26 informants. Officially listed, but recent testimony from whistleblowers indicate up to 274 FBI-linked operatives were involved. Most notably, Ray Epps, screaming, "Go in," and all he gets is probation, while Grandma gets solitary confinement. Need proof, newly released body cam footage shows Capitol Police waving people inside. And what about the elusive pipe bomber? Still unsolved? Maybe not. In 2025, new footage of a 5'7" suspect is seen planting the bombs, completely ignored by Pelosi's detail. Why is that, you may ask? Could the bomber possibly be a member of the Capitol Police? Someone who falls directly under Nancy Pelosi's direction. Man, I sure hope the young lady planting the bombs doesn't cut a deal implicating anyone important. That could get awkward. Still looking for documentation? Well, look no further. Abundant evidence has been found in burn bags, hidden in secret rooms at the FBI building. Oops. Let's go into the bonus round, shall we, and discuss the pre-game rigging. Crossfire hurricane? That happened. The FBI hoax. That happened also. Durham proved it. Now, with the 2025 subpoenas, Brennan, Strzok, Page. Their lies are being exposed. Hunter's laptop? That was real. The FBI had it for a year. Then colluded with Twitter to brand it as Russian disinformation. And while we are on the subject, we should pay homage to the now discredited 51 Intel spooks who destroyed their reputations by signing a letter trying to influence an election. Of course, all were Biden allies. And how does the media cover all this? Trump is worse than Hitler and Biden is a sweet old grandpa. Of course, he is a sweet old grandpa, raking in millions in Ukrainian cash. So, now that I have presented my case, where do I land on the nutjob scale? I started with questions. I followed the evidence. I got censored. My predictions? Most came true. The official narrative? Crumbling like a fact-checker's credibility. I'm not the guy twisting facts to fit a story. I'm the guy watching the story twist itself into a pretzel, trying to avoid the facts. Left-leaning viewers, yeah, you in the MSNBC hoodie, does this add up? Let's have that conversation.